program, and it would be one of those items which we would discuss as I understood your group and your program a little bit more. With regard to the administrator, you've got an initial setup fee of $1,500 or so, and then monthly costs of $750 to $1,500 per month. And then there are also larger hedge funds may pay a fee based on the assets under management, 30 basis points a month or less, just depending on the actual fees charged by the administrator. With regard to audit, there's typically two sets of fees. There's an audit fee of $5,000 to $15,000 per year, depending on a number of factors, and then there's the tax preparation fees, which can range from $4,000 to $10,000, again depending on a number of factors, and it will also depend on the audit firm which you use. The prime broker, obviously, their fees are going to vary depending on a number of items, including your strategy, what investments you're actually using, and the trading volume. Now, for all of these service providers, I'm able to provide you with some people who I've worked with in the past and who I think are good and provide cost-effective services to hedge fund managers. So if you would like some names, definitely please get in touch with me, and I would forward those on to you. Of course, there are other business expenses that you'll need to think about: office rent, compliance costs, computers, office equipment, etc., etc. These are items which you should be identifying and thinking about when you are creating your business plan, as we discussed at the very beginning. Now the kind of million-dollar question in the hedge fund world: how do you raise capital? And it's one of those questions where there's not a lot of great answers. It's hard. It's tough. It's not. I mean, I guess if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it. But it can be done, and if you're kind of stick to it and have good returns, then hopefully raising capital will come. There are a few things to note. First of all, obviously any capital raising efforts must be done pursuant to Regulation D, and that includes the no general advertising requirement. In the beginning, you're probably going to be trying to raise capital from family and friends. And during the kind of startup period, those are likely to be your main investors. Once you have a little bit of a track record, 6 to 12 months, with good performance and a decent amount of assets under management, then you may want to start thinking about fine-tuning all of your marketing materials for the institutional investor. The hedge fund consultants actually can kind of help you out with grooming you for institutional investor presentations, how do you market to institutional investors, etc., etc. They can also help you prepare the various marketing materials, such as PowerPoint pitch books, one-page tear sheets, and of course, both of which include the appropriate legal disclosures and disclaimers. I've got links to sample PowerPoints and sample tear sheets on my website, and please feel free to take a look at those and use them as a guide. There are also outside marketing activities that you can be thinking about once you do have that track record established. There's various hedge fund databases out there. There's industry events. There's networking events in all of the major big cities. There's Hedge Funds Care, which puts on various benefits in the various cities throughout the U.S. So trying to get into that community would be beneficial as well. There's capital introduction services, and these are usually provided by brokerage firms, and will depend on or your ability to use their services will depend on a number of items, including your strategy, your returns, and will also depend to a large portion on the current economic climate. Right now, it's obviously very difficult to find groups willing to do capital introductions at this point in time. There are also third-party marketing firms which you can contact and which will go out and try to raise money for your fund. Of course, you have to give them a little bit of your management fee and performance fee generally, but there are many instances where third-party marketers have helped funds grow much more quickly than they would have been able to grow otherwise. And finally, to kind of end with the main portion of what I wanted to discuss today, there are other issues obviously involved in starting a hedge fund, and like I said before, I've tried to kind of highlight some of the main points, and some of these other issues would need to be discussed as well between you and the attorney or some of the other service providers, and that includes incubator hedge funds. A lot of basically what an incubator hedge fund is kind of the shell structures, and used basically to create a track record for the hedge fund and the management company before a manager is ready to go out and really start trying to find outside investors. Offshore hedge funds, if you have offshore investors, then you're going to want to talk about this with your attorney who can help you find the appropriate structure, typically an offshore hedge fund of some sort, either a master feeder structure or a side-by-side or standalone structure. There's various tax issues that may or may not come up or may be applicable to your fund. Your attorney will be able to talk with you about these in depth. There are issues with ERISA and IRA investments that you'll need to be aware of, and during the process you will become more aware of these as your attorney mentions them and discusses them with you. You'll also see in the offering documents there'll be a prominent section devoted to ERISA investments. The new issues rule: if the fund is going to be engaging in any IPOs, purchasing any IPOs, then the manager is going to need to be familiar with the new issue rule. Soft dollars, side letters, due diligence, blue sky filing. All of these issues the attorney will be able to discuss with you in depth, and whether or not they're applicable to your fund. So that kind of brings us to the end of the presentation. I wanted to get this quick disclaimer in before I kind of close up. Obviously, this information is just for your informational purposes only, and not providing any sort of legal advice, and this does not establish an attorney-client relationship between myself and the user. And please also note that I have a disclaimer on my website as well, and please take some time to go and review that as well. So again, my name is Bart Mallon. I'm a hedge fund attorney. I write many articles for the Hedge Fund Law Blog, and am available to help you set up your hedge fund. Please feel free to get in touch with me at any time, and thank you for taking the time to listen. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please send them to me at barmallon@gmail.com, and please also visit my website, hedgefundlawblog.com. Thank you very much.